have to get everything right. Welcome back to my channel. If you saw last week's video, you may have heard that we were going to be talking about quantum networking this week. What the hell is quantum networking? It is a methodology that we have gotten all the pieces based on many years of research and development, and we're ready to present it to you. It's so freaking cool because this is a technique for networking that has been used by a handful of really wealthy and successful people, and we are about to give it to you. So Andre,
yep.
Tell us about quantum networking.
Quantum networking is a very simple idea. The idea is that you meet the people you're meant to know, that you're meant to meet in your life. Okay, so I want to present something to you to kind of illustrate what this means. Think of the world. Okay, the world that we live in supposedly contains billions of people, okay? But we, in our entire lives, only meet not even a fraction of a % of those people, okay? And every one of those people that we interact with, whether it's just somebody you happen to go to the store and you talk to a cashier, or whether it's your best buddy, is someone that you're actually meant to know in your life. What quantum networking does, it takes this, okay, the fact that you're meant to meet these people, and it turns it up to 1,000, and you meet all kinds of people that you had no idea that you were supposed to know.
Could you give like an example? Like, what does that look like?
Well, the thing is, funny enough, people actually already do this. So for an example, let's take you for an example. You have met people that you're supposed to know.
As an example?
This is an example.
Yes.
This is my example. So you met me. Okay, so that was...
I am honored.
Yeah, so you met me. Okay. The thing is, right, you had no idea you were supposed to meet me, but you met me.
Let me give some context. I agree with you 100%, but let me give some context as to why you would mention this particular relationship, because I think a lot of people see their relationships as very random, even if they have good connections with the people they know. So when I met Andre, I was in a horrible relationship. I was miserable, and we happened to meet in an online class. Now, where you meet people doesn't matter. It's just a detail of our story.
Right.
But Andre was one of the people who helped me get out of that relationship. We got to know each other really well over the next few months, and then we ended up basically working together on social media, which was my first foray into YouTube, and I had a really successful YouTube channel with Andre's help, and it's just been this amazing unfolding of not just a relationship but a partnership as well that I've never had before with any other relationship. Things that I've gained out of our connection have been life-changing. Like, that's an understatement, and it's been the same for you with me as
Indeed.
well.
Yep.
So yes, this is an example, a very small example of how quantum networking helps you meet the people you need to move your life forward in ways that you don't know.
Well, let's also think about this. You may have also experienced this particular thing. Maybe you know someone that you were like, man, I just feel like I was supposed to know you. I was supposed to meet you. This was the right person at the right time. You have already experienced this. Or let's just take it. Let's say that you go, no, I've never done that. Okay. Let's say that you end up coming across a piece of content on social media. Okay. Ooh. You come across a piece of content that happened to be the right piece of content that you needed to see that day, that instigated some level of change in your life. Exactly. Right?
Yeah.
That also follows the same principle of quantum networking.
Yeah. I can give an example from my own life. When I was leaving that relationship that I just talked about that I was in before, I didn't have any money, and so I figured I could find a couple of sugar daddies who could like give me money and help me move into my own apartment. And it turned out that the two people I met not only gave me more than enough money to move into an apartment, but also were able to facilitate me getting my apartment because I needed a letter of recommendation from an employer, and I wasn't employed at the time. So one of them pretended to be my boss. So those two people, for minimal effort on my part, literally minimal effort, facilitated me getting out of my relationship and getting into my own apartment perfectly. I could not have met two better people.
Couldn't have structured it any better.
Exactly. That's another example of quantum networking. Yep. Let's talk a little bit about, I guess, how you use it, or a very general overview of how it works.
The idea, again, is that you meet the people that you're meant to meet, right? Well, here's part of the issue as to why you may not necessarily be able to do this on on a conscious level. Right now, we all do it on a very unconscious level.
Yeah.
Okay. Like we may have a thought that goes, oh man, I really would like to meet this type of person. People who are looking for relationships do this literally all the time. But one of the reasons why you may not necessarily be able to do this on a conscious level is because you're not even aware that it's happening. Very often people write off that this type of thing happening is random. Whereas in my case, I know it's not random. I know that every person that I'm supposed to meet, I'm going to meet. Okay. And every person that I interact with, I'm supposed to interact with them. The people that I meet, it's very, I don't know if the word intentional is the best word, but it's the word I'll use for purposes here. The people that I meet is very intentional.
And to be clear, when you say it's intentional, that doesn't mean that you're doing tons of like research and physical work. No. It's intentional, but effortless.
Yeah, I put like no work into it.
It's hard to conceptualize without like understanding how it actually works, but it's intentional and effortless at the same time, which is great because I love minimal effort anything. What would you say to someone if they wanted to like get into quantum networking?
There's 3 main steps that you have to go through in order to really take advantage of quantum networking. The first one is you have to get rid of a lot of your limiting beliefs. Many people are afflicted, and I'm going to use that word, afflicted with limiting beliefs. They believe, oh, well, I can't do this because X, or I shouldn't do this because of Y, or this is a terrible idea because of Z. They believe this, and none of that's true, but they believe it wholeheartedly. They believe it so much that it actually prevents them from seeing the opportunities that are right in front of them.
If you think about it, your life perfectly reflects your limiting beliefs.
It does.
No matter what you think, your life reflects it perfectly.
Okay, I'll give you this. Let's say that you think to yourself, man, I really would love to go to the gym, right? Mm-hmm. What you're really saying is that I'm not going to the gym. So your life is going to reflect you not going to the gym, right? I want to go, but I'm not going,
so you're not going.
So you're not going, right? Exactly. It always reflects what your beliefs are. When you're stuck in this idea of this belief, it makes it really difficult for you to actually see what's right in front of you. Step 2 is finding your happiness. What makes you the most happy?
Ooh, what makes you happy?
Well, puzzles. I love puzzles. I love to solve puzzles. I love to figure things out, even though I don't have to. There's like no reason for me to do it other than the fact that I like doing it. That makes me happy. And so my life is literally filled with all kinds of puzzles for me to solve, which is great because I enjoy that. And then step 3 is connecting to what I call the invisible network. All right. Now, you may hear me say step 1, step 2, step 3, but the truth is that all of these actually happen at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Quantum networking refers to the fact that in the quantum, everything occurs simultaneously.
Right. And the only thing that really happens, you actually know this. Go ahead, tell them. You know what happens when you do all 3. Where do they shift into? What does it shift into? Tell them.
I don't know.
Awareness. Okay. Awareness.
I'm put on the spot.
Okay. Awareness. When these things start shifting into your awareness, then your life literally just becomes like, what the hell? Like all these incredible things that you may see that are like miraculous. That's the word I was trying to think of. Miraculous.
Yeah.
They just happen. And you're like, well, wait, I didn't even do anything. Because that doesn't matter. Like, it's not about what you're doing. Okay? Like, there's just this belief that we have to work so hard to get all these things done. And it's not true. Okay? I don't work that hard and I can generate any amount of money that I want.
The only reason you can't do that right now is your limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
And the fact that you don't understand how your results have nothing to do with the work you put in.
And truth. Preach it. That is absolutely true.
This is a great introduction to quantum networking, I think. Is there anything else you want to mention before we go?
No, this basically sums up the entire premise. And I know that it could be a little difficult to understand like right off the gate. But if you're familiar with like traditional networking and you go to traditional networks, you are an expert at this. You go into traditional networking events and then you're not really getting any particular results that you want.
Oh.
This concept is why you're not getting them. Like, just saying.
It's a small handful of really wealthy and successful people who use this. And
Correct.
That's someone, the person you learned this from was really wealthy and
successful. He was really wealthy. And what I told him was that I wanted to just own my time. And that's what he taught me how to do. I get to own my time. I literally don't do anything I don't want to do. I just don't. I will not do it. Okay,
Yeah.
I'd be like, nope, I'm not interested.
Yeah, there's a big difference, just before we go, one last remark. There's a big difference between wealthy people who have no time and wealthy people who have time.
Oh yeah, there's a massive difference.
The ones who have no time don't use quantum networking.
Correct.
So, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about this, we have an ebook called Quantum Networking. I'll put the link in our bio. You can check that out. It comes with an audiobook narrated by yours truly. And we will see you next week on Monday.